You are now listening to Deep Dive with KitePod, the podcast that takes you into the world of groundbreaking startups and game-changing innovations. In partnership with Door Company, we bring you inspiring stories and latest insights reshaping the industries. So sit back and join us as we embark on today's journey into the future of innovation. Curious to learn more? Head over to venturekites.com for the full article on today's featured company. Let's get started.
Okay, ready to jump in. Today, we're going deep on Immunito AI.
Immunito AI.
Yeah, they're this Indian biotech startup, and get this. They're using AI to actually design new medical treatments.
Really? It sounds kind of like science fiction.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But it's happening right now.
Some really cutting-edge stuff.
Seriously. We're talking about the potential for faster, cheaper, and way more effective antibody therapies.
Their ambition is what really struck me. They're not just trying to make existing treatments a little bit better. They're aiming to completely change how we approach some of the most challenging diseases out there.
Okay, so before we get too far, let's back up a bit. When we say antibody therapies, what are we actually talking about?
So antibodies are like the elite special forces of your immune system. They're these tiny proteins that can zero in on threats, like viruses or bacteria, and neutralize them with incredible accuracy. And antibody therapies, it's like giving your body's natural defenses a massive AI upgrade.
Okay, so it's like giving your immune system the ability to launch a super targeted strike against whatever's making you sick, right?
Precisely. We're talking about treatments that are already having a major impact, especially for really complex diseases, things like cancer, autoimmune disorders. But there's a catch. The traditional way of discovering and developing these therapies, it's a slow, expensive process, and there's no guarantee of success.
Yeah, I've heard about that. It's like searching for a needle in a haystack.
Exactly. And that's where AI comes in, totally changing the game. Immunito AI is basically saying, instead of searching for that needle, let's just create the exact one we need, atom by atom.
Wow. So they're not looking for what's already out there. They're creating something totally new.
Right. Design over discovery. That's their motto. And it seems to be working. They've already earned some serious recognition awards, accelerator programs, the whole 9 yards.
Okay, enough about the accolades. Let's dive into the technology itself. How are they building these better antibodies?
Well, it all starts with their two main AI platforms, imDESIGN and imRANK.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
imDESIGN is where the magic happens. It uses powerful algorithms to design completely new antibodies from scratch. It's like a digital antibody factory.
So they're literally coding new cures, huh?
You could say that. They're creating antibodies with very specific purposes in mind, which is amazing, but it also presents a challenge. Imagine having thousands of these new antibody designs. You need a way to sort through them and figure out which ones have the most potential, right?
That makes sense, yeah. It's like trying to pick a winner out of thousands of contestants.
Exactly. And that's where imRANK comes in. Think of it as the quality control, analyzing all these AI-designed antibodies and ranking them based on their likelihood of becoming effective therapies.
So imRANK is kind of like the judges on a talent show, making sure only the best of the best make it through.
Exactly. It helps Immunito AI focus on the most promising candidates. But there's another aspect of their approach that I think is really remarkable, their structure-first approach.
Okay, I keep seeing that term. What's so special about focusing on the structure of an antibody?
Well, you know how a key has to have the exact right shape to fit into a lock? It's the same with antibodies. Their 3D structure determines how well they can bind to their target, like a perfect lock and key.
So by understanding and predicting that 3D structure, they can essentially design antibodies that are way more likely to hit their target.
You got it. This focus on structure allows Immunito AI to design antibodies with incredible accuracy, which could mean fewer side effects and more effective treatments down the line.
And if I remember correctly, this could also be the key to overcoming those big challenges of traditional antibody development, those long timelines and high costs.
You're exactly right. Immunito AI's approach has the potential to dramatically reduce the time and money it takes to develop these therapies.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. Where does Immunito AI fit into the overall picture of antibody therapies? Because it seems like that market is just booming right now, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's exploding. In 2022, the market was valued at a whopping $214.7 billion.
Seriously, wow. What's driving that kind of growth?
It's pretty straightforward. These therapies are incredibly effective, especially for challenging diseases like cancer, autoimmune diseases, infectious diseases. The issue is they're crazy expensive, which means a lot of people who could benefit from them just can't afford them.
Right, yeah, I've heard about that. So how does Immunito AI's approach offer a solution to that affordability problem?
Well, imagine if you could slash development time by up to 60% and cost by up to 50%.
Wow, that would be a game changer. Making these revolutionary treatments accessible to so many more people. It's like democratizing access to cutting-edge medicine.
Exactly.
Quick pause to tell you about Dork Company. They are the business development experts who brought our ideas for venture kites to life. From brainstorming to full-scale execution, Dork Company is with you every step of the way. Whether you're launching a new startup or looking to grow an existing venture, they will make it happen. Focus on creating and let Dork Company take care of the rest. Check them out at dorkcompany.com and start turning your big ideas into reality.
So what about Immunito AI's long-term goals? Where do they see themselves going from here?
They're not shy about their ambitions, that's for sure. They have this vision for a future where AI-designed antibody therapies are the standard of care, accessible to everyone, and even personalized for each patient's unique needs.
Wow. So instead of using broad-spectrum drugs that affect your whole body, they're talking about using antibodies that are tailor-made to target the exact cells causing the problem. That's incredible. But what needs to happen for them to actually get there? What are the next steps?
Well, it's not just about the technology itself, right? They're going to need strong partnerships, especially with those big pharmaceutical companies, and, of course, securing more funding to scale their operations.
Right. Partnerships and funding. It makes sense. What about the ethical considerations of using AI in healthcare? That seems like it could be a big one.
Absolutely. As AI plays a bigger role in healthcare, we have to make sure it's being developed and used responsibly, especially when you're talking about things like patient privacy and the potential for bias in algorithms.
Those are really important points. Okay, so we've talked about their vision, their technology, their track record. From all the research we've done, what stood out to you the most about Immunito AI?
For me, it's how elegant their solution is. They saw this big problem, this really slow, expensive process for discovering antibodies, and they're tackling it head on with AI.
It's interesting you say elegant, because we usually think of AI as this blunt instrument, crunching huge amounts of data. But Immunito AI's approach feels much more precise, like they're crafting these treatments with incredible care.
Exactly. It's that precision that makes their work so exciting. They're not just throwing AI at something and hoping for the best. They have a vision, and they're being very strategic about it.
Like they're taking this incredibly powerful tool and using it with real finesse. It makes you wonder about the possibilities. Imagine if we could create antibodies specifically for your genes or design them to fight new diseases as soon as they pop up.
And that's the future that Immunito AI is working towards.
That's incredible. It's exciting to think about what they might accomplish in the years to come. What other diseases could they target with this technology? What other scientific barriers could they break down?
It's really just the tip of the iceberg. And that's what makes Immunito AI so fascinating to follow. They're pushing the boundaries of what's possible, and I, for one, am really excited to see what they do next.
Me too. And to our listeners, if you're as intrigued by Immunito AI as we are, we'll also be posting some additional resources on our website, so be sure to check those out as well.
And if you have any thoughts or questions about Immunito AI, AI in healthcare, or anything else we've covered, feel free to reach out to us on social media. We always love to hear from you.
We do.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Deep Dive with KitePod. We hope you're feeling inspired and ready to chase your own ideas. Don't forget to subscribe for more episodes featuring the latest in startups, tech, and entrepreneurship. And as always, you can find in-depth articles and more at venturekites.com. Until next time, keep your ideas rolling.